Don't
I'm
go.
actually, we're probably going to talk about Bridgerton later because of another topic that we're going to have. So, yes, Mike, getting into it, we're going to have this dream talk. Um, but I also want to pull up my notes because this was a couple days ago. And so, let me just set up the scene, right? So, I'm in bed. I think I went to bed pretty early, maybe around like 11, 12 ish.
I'm uncomfortable.
So, what? Not,
Already?
so I woke up. Oh damn! I forgot to get a seltzer, but I'll be right. So I wake up at like 5 a.m. right from this dream, and to be honest, I felt like pretty well rested, but also shocked. And so I wake up and like this dream is so bananas, like it just covered so many different things that I was like, I have to write this down because it's just stupid. So I don't remember how the dream started, but I'm just gonna give you like the hot moments that I think are hilarious. I don't know if I'm gonna read through this. Um,
Oh man, he wrote this shit down.
yo, it's a lot. Like I don't know if you can see, like it's a lot.
Wow.
Like I had to cover a lot of topics. All right, so
They say if you don't write it down within like an
oh,
hour,
you
you
forget it. You
so much.
forget it completely. Yeah. All right, so let me just get into it. So I'm in this like building, and it's I have recurring dreams from time to time, and I've been in this building before. So the general concept of the building is that there's two elevators. One elevator goes up to the 37th floor. Mike, you got to put your headphones in because I
Uh,
can hear myself. And
sure.
also, so audio was terrible because I didn't have my headphones in.
My bad.
Okay. Um,
I'm listening.
yeah. So there's two elevators in this building. One elevator goes up to the 37th floor. One elevator goes to the 36th floor. Uh, I need to get to the 36th floor, right? But only okay. So every time I get into the elevator to get to the 36th floor, it goes up to the 36th floor and then it just slides right back down. Like it won't open once it gets to that floor. So I'm like, okay, let me go to the one that goes to the 37th floor and then try to find stairs to go down to the 36th floor because that's where I need to get to. But like I just can't ever get there, and I keep going around in this circle trying to get to this floor. So there comes to a point where I catch up to Mike, and Mike appears, and so he's like in military garb, like a green military, like maybe uh, World
like
War II era,
like
like a vintage,
fatigues?
like no, not like army fatigue, but like dress military, but it's like olive green. Like he looks real sharp. Like he came home from it
Oh, okay,
and like
yeah.
that type of military stuff. So, but it doesn't look like Mike now. He's like, and this isn't shade, but like he's like really tan and really handsome. He looks like handsome Squidward. Like his face is like like gorgeous. Like he's just chiseled, right?
Wow.
This
So
is the second SpongeBob reference.
well, we didn't get that recorded, but yes, of the day. So I'm just gonna read it. So Private Military Mike is tan and handsome, much like real Mike. There you go. This is your shout
Hey,
out.
I'll take it.
So looks like handsome Squidward at first, then taller and stocky, Stamati Mike. So there's like I see you at different points. Well, I see you in like this one moment, but your physicality changes and like the way you look changes. So this is gonna I'm gonna try to figure it out and say it in order. Um, so all right, the first time that I see you, you have like this military garb on, and you go up to like three other like generals or whatever, and you go salute them. Right? So
Sorry.
you go up to the generals and you start to salute them, but then you start to do like other like impressive salutes, and like you're like entertaining. Like there's a crowd now, and people are like, "Oh, this guy really salutes well." And like you do like a regular salute, and then you do like a behind the back salute. Like you do just like a bunch of weird things. And like there was one salute in particular that I can't really act out, but like everybody went crazy. Like people were like, "Oh, this guy salutes so
It was
crazy."
like that meme where the guy keeps going, oh, oh, oh.
The people were just going nuts, and I'm like, "Yo, Mike is going crazy right now," but I gotta go get to the 36th floor. So I leave that event, right, and I'm going down, And Mike, you're gonna come back in later. Don't worry. So I go down and I'm just like walking, and this is kind of like just like an open concept building, like where it's set in a building, but it looks like I'm in like a marketplace. So I get to this point where everything is like super weird and trippy. There's animals in cages, but the animals aren't like regular animals. They're like there's a giraffe dog, um, and it has like the body of a dog, but like the neck of a giraffe, but the head is just like a round nub, like there's no face, and everything is in like some Asian language. So let me just read this part again. So at this point, I'm trying to walk through this place, but I'm freaked out because all these animals are super weird. And then uh, I'm like, I can't, like, every time I try to walk somewhere, I get like pushed back to the beginning of this like weird Japan freak show area. And I'm like, I don't know how to get out of this. So, um, well, this is the other part. So I realized I was in a dream when I couldn't go through Freaky Japan World by myself. I run into a Greek Mike. So Greek Mike was this guy that we went into high school with, right? So I don't know if you guys remember.
You
Mike
mean
definitely
Greco?
Oh
no
yeah,
no
I
no
completely remember.
no no
Oh,
not Greco. I don't know if I should say his name. I kind of slipped and said
Stamata.
it earlier.
Oh,
Stamati. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
whoops.
We'll definitely leave it out. But Stamati, like
We'll call him grapes or
AKA
olives.
Steve, right? So like Mike looked like him, like his type of build, but he's like shorter. So before I said like he was really handsome. Now he's like short and stocky, but like it's still Mike. So I run into Greek Mike, and he tells me that every time he tries to go around the corner, he can't pass because there's an invisible barrier. So I'm like, yeah, the same thing keeps happening to me. And so I explained to him because at this point I realized I'm dreaming now. And so from time to time I do like have lucid dreams where I can like figure out I'm in a dream and I'll start like manipulating things and like doing whatever I want. So I'm like, okay, boom, like now I know we're in a dream. What we have to do is just talk to each other and we won't even think about this invisible barrier because we're creating it in our minds. And like this is what's gonna allow us to go through and get out of this fucking freak show if we just focus on our conversation and not focus on not being able to go through, which I'd call dream physics. I'm like explaining this to Mike as like, you know, like it's
like your own personal inception.
right, yeah. So, so now once we're in this Japan world and we're walking together and like the plan is working, right? But what starts to happen that's weird is like I started talking like an old timey Brooklyn accent, like a Brooklyn gangster, like Al Capone, even though he's from Chicago, like that kind of old timey, like yeah, she yeah, like that type of accent. Like, and I can't control it, so I'm talking like that to Mike. And okay, so during the Brooklyn accent walk, I tell Mike that I'm dreaming. We're in a dream, and I probably have to call him, tell him about it because it's so crazy. So like I'm thinking to myself, like I'm gonna have to tell Mike about this dream because this is wild. So Mike, like Dream Mike, says, "Why don't you just tell me about it now, and then I'll know in real life when I wake up from the dream?" And I'm like, "No, you idiot! This is my dream, and our dreams aren't connected, so you won't know any of this. That's not how dreams work." I think to myself, it would be sick if that's how dreams work, but I don't tell him this. He's like, "Oh, damn, okay."
Oh damn. Okay.
So, uh, let's see, what else? So we eventually get out of the dream thing, the old timey Brooklyn phase. Let's see. I can feel my teeth cutting into. Okay, so like I was talking so Brooklyn gangster, like it was causing me physical pain. Like my teeth were grating against like the sides of my mouth.
Ugh.
And I was like, I wish I could stop doing this, but like I can't not talk like an old timey gangster. Um, so I think this is when I end up on the hospital elevator floor. Okay, so it gets to a point where we get through the Brooklyn part. We're like, all right, sweet, like we're good, and I walk away from Mike. And then the other part of this dream is kind of dark, and I'm going to wrap it up kind of really quickly because this is also running long. But essentially, this is where my dream gets fucked up. So I get back into the elevator, um, and I meet up some friends from middle school. I'm not going to say their names. And then we get in this elevator, and we still having the same issue going up and down, up and down. And my friends are like, all right, we're going to go try the elevator one more time. And they go up, and it comes back down, but it's like racing to the bottom and it crashes and like my friends die and there's glass shattering and it's like flying everywhere. and I'm running and like the glass shards are like getting into my ears and into my face, and like that's how I wake up because like I'm
Damn.
being like, yeah,
Damn. That is some shit.
that is a
What
riveting dream.
PCP are you smoking before you go to bed? Nah.
I mean, it was a wild one. I do have pretty vivid dreams, but like that one was like it was so long and it was so intense. There
Mm.
was like different. It was crazy.
So I just want to go. I just want to go into it for a minute here. Fun fact: the Greek Mike guy that you're talking about, aka Steve. Fun fact: he married an ex girlfriend of mine.
I wasn't
So,
gonna bring that up.
oh, well, I will because it's fucking amazing.
Wait, type in the chat which one. I'm not.
We can bleep out the names.
Oh,
Not the
okay.
not the one that you met at in New Jersey.
Nah,
I don't
you
think you
never
met this
met her.
one.
Nah, her name was Angela. There's just no way that you met her because
Yeah.
we were only at my school. But anyway, that's a fun fact.
Yeah.
I am a man who personally believes in uh it's not necessarily what happens in the dream that
Uh,
is important. It's how you describe it. So I was like I was paying attention to what you were saying, but like I couldn't recount that all to you because that was a lot. My thing is like I was listening for like specific like trigger words or like specific things you said. The elevator to me is like fantastic. Like that's like totally like you moving through life, and
mhm.
the elevator is like a way to understand that. But like like the I don't know, like the fact that I'm in it, I don't know. Like I don't know if that's super like relevant necessarily. The
It is.
military thing though is interesting.
And I
Like
even wrote that in my notes. I was like, Mike doesn't even like the military.
yeah, I'm trying to think like cuz like if you think about it like the military like you think of order, you think of like
Mhm.
like ranking and
But
standing and shit
you
like
were
that.
totally taking the order out of it. You were just like making everyone laugh and like
Right. Right. Yeah. So I'm wondering like, does that have to do with how you feel about what you're doing in your life and do you have freedom is the zoo that you were talking about like the crazy shit like is that what you like see work as like unconsciously like you're
I
just
love
like it's out of
the analysis.
control like
Scared shitless in
um
that place.
hmm,
Maybe I'm scared of work.
yeah like maybe like you're trying to like I mean, the elevator in and of itself is you
That's deep.
trying to elevate yourself in your life and get out of the
But I'm
situation that you're
constantly
in.
failing. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and the your friends dying at the end is definitely interesting. I don't know because that's I try to like steer away from like like taking that super literally,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on that one.
Okay.
That's a really good one, and honestly, like, thank you, because like you're telling me that I'm handsome in the dream and like in real life, and it's just like you confuse the two, and it just like ends up being Mike's handsome.
That's all I wanted you to get out of this is handsome Mike. You're handsome Mike in my dreams. And
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm the egotistical narcissist that everyone loves.
Any other questions?
lot, le- lot less sex in the dream than I was
Yeah,
hoping.
you automatically went to sex dream, and I was
I
like,
think he
okay.
just wanted to hear about like us having sex in the dream.
That's not true.
I mean, you did
That's
bring
how
it
he
up.
was gonna
It
get his
was,
rocks off.
Don't
you know,
don't put that on me.
no one else was talking about that. You were the one that brought it up. Maybe subconsciously, you're dreaming of us
No,
having sex.
no, it's
I
okay.
think that'll be the title of the episode. Kamal dreams of men having sex.
Don't you dare. I'll sue something. I'll say
I'll
you'll,
sue.
you'll take this podcast down.
You guys will never make it past 40 followers. You weren't going to anyway, but
Yeah. So that was it. That was my dream, and
that's some good shit.
now we can move on.
Yeah, I'll have
So,
to think about that.
next we got another fantasy come to life. Maybe Star Wars.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that's right. Not fantasy.
Mike is he's now up to what 2008. He's in terms
Yeah.
of pop culture um, awareness.
no, that's a stretch. Just Star Wars kind of basic knowledge, not pop culture up until 2008.
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
work.
maybe
It's a lot of
that's
work to go there.
that's too much.
I was asleep before 2008. Like,
Yeah, I might be
they had
giving
to
too
tell me
much.
about the financial crisis.
He's like, "What crash? Housing what? What's a housing bubble? What's that?"
Oh, McCain? What?
Okay, so Mike finished the second trilogy of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know you're a notes guy. Do you have notes on this, or you just want to kind of spitball general thoughts on the trilogy? Any
Mm,
bright moments for you? We can maybe do that. Any things you liked, you didn't like?
yeah. I mean, I think I was definitely a little bit more um for some reason like I was pulled in more with the first trilogy. I'm not sure why. It
That was
almost
better.
yeah, it
But
almost
yeah,
felt
you and
like
you and every other Star Wars fan out
okay,
there.
I'm glad that I'm not just like pulling that out of my ass because not that they weren't good. I really liked Hugh McGregor's role.
Mm.
I liked Kylo Ren and all that. Like, I just once it moved into the
Wait. Kylo Ren.
no, he's the third one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go
The
back
third
to you and
trilogy. Okay,
McGregor.
my bad. That's my bad. What I do like about it is the like hereditary the heredity of it or whatever. Like, how you're seeing like the kids of people, but like
Hmm.
backwards almost. I like that. It was kind of confusing for me. I had to ask a lot of questions. Um, but I enjoy I think my favorite thread is like the fall the what would you call it? Like the demise or like, the failing of Anakin.
Hmm.
Because like correct me if I'm wrong, but he's the kid that starts with like nothing and he's like racing the ship and
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
Like that to me is amazing. But
Hmm.
then, you're talking about him. What I just don't get like I guess I understand, but like I don't understand like what brings him to the point where he's like who's his Padme? That is
Hmm.
who his love?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Padme. Hmm.
Padme. And he just like kind of disowns her all of a sudden and gets pulled in by the dark side. But like what brought that out? Like what brought that out? I don't know if I understand that necessarily because he's like this sweet kid.
Kamal, you want to explain? Because this is actually one of my favorite things about Star Wars.
Um.
It
So
was
like
so
Kamal can get
good,
into
but it
the
was just like
technical
I don't know
jargon
if
Well,
there.
I
it was the Jedi have this philosophy that strong emotions, strong emotions usually end up turning negative and lead you, and negative emotions lead you down a a bad path. That you are
The path to the
that
dark side.
yeah that
right.
that these intense emotions will eventually, I guess, betray you and lead you to being overwhelmed by them and leading toward the dark side.
Mm, and
So
that's
Um,
he had to separate himself or his try to separate his emotions from his mother, from Padme, in order to be to follow the Jedi way. And I always think that's interesting because like the Jedi are supposed to be these like almost like machine like soldiers because they're not allowed to have feelings or emotions. They're
well,
just there to
they're
do the
supposed to
job.
be like what
monks.
somewhat monks, but like also the like arbiters of balance and equality throughout the galaxy. They're like not police, but like I don't
Definitely
know.
not police.
Well,
No.
I don't know what to describe it. It's more like
They're
Like
just
almost like
like
super like ethical like priestess. I don't know. I
I
don't know
don't
what the
know.
word would be.
I don't know. Like what they're described as monks and priests, I guess, because more their attire and their like kind of
right.
philosophical
But I think
stance.
you
But
described it
like
like
they're
their role to provide balance. I think that's like
yeah, but because they are a type of um a
Switzerland,
law enforcement, a kind of policy enforcement
the United
entity.
Nations.
They would be maybe they're like a they're like an arm of the republic. So like they are supposed to be they're supposed to be
Wrap it up.
they're a They are a violent nonprofit organization.
Violent nonprofit organization.
They're like a violent human services nonprofit.
But they're not violent though. Like they're only
But they're
they're like
warriors.
They're
right,
hands for hire.
they're like karate masters, you know, like they only use it if they have to. Like they don't.
But they are used as agents of. It's weird. The relationship to like the galaxy as a whole is weird. But long story short, with Anakin, it's the idea that he was this young kid who, at first his, I don't know, his, you don't see his emotions really, and he seems really wide eyed
Mhm.
in the first one, but in the second one in particular, you see like his more, uh, you see a lot of the
He's
typical human
unbalanced
emotions.
size.
Well, just the emotions that you expect from a human being who's gone through a lot of trauma and
Right.
stresses. He does being enslaved at a young age, being separated from um,
His mother.
being separated from his mother. I guess not having because you don't even know who his father is.
Mhm.
Trying to gain acceptance in this world, he's become a part of being incredibly gifted in that world, yet still feeling like separated and an outsider and not good enough, which is what the whole Jedi Master thing is partly about. That he's talented enough and skilled, yet he's seemed as they don't welcome him. They don't give him the honor of being granted a master, even though
Is it
feels
because they fear him?
well, they fear because he's not emotionally mature enough. That's the thing. Yeah,
Right.
he's very he. We see a lot of his emotional immaturity in the second film and in the third film, um, and that immaturity leads to makes him prey to manipulation. Right.
Mhm.
So
What else, Mike? What else? What other thoughts did you have?
The I felt like the big guy soak, sloke,
Snoke?
whatever.
you're going back
Snoke.
to the third one. That's the third
Ah,
one.
fuck.
This is little kid Anakin to I have the high ground.
Yeah.
This is
It's all the ones with Ewan McGregor. So if Ewan McGregor's not in it, then we're not
yeah.
talking.
This is the Ewan McGregor movies.
Right.
You also
Um.
another question you had earlier was about when he, I guess, goes cold towards Padme.
Mhm.
Do you want to maybe go down that road a little bit just to kind of help you out here? I don't know.
I mean, it kind of now it kind of makes a little bit more sense, you know, that you're seeing the human side of him. Um, I guess I guess I struggle with this idea though that I struggle. The biggest thing I struggle with is like the force, like because it's just so like the understanding of it to me is just so like malleable,
Mhm.
and like they make it work for like their story to make sense, you know, like, oh well, the force has been out of balance for years, but you have all these Jedis. What have they been doing? I don't understand. Like they were supposed to be balancing it. Like,
So funny enough, I'm not sure if this actually this part of it is actually it might be hinted at in the stories, but in those trilogies, the character Count Dooku, right? Um, Played by the late what's his name, Christopher Lloyd. Do I got that right?
I don't know. I don't know his name.
But basically, long story short, so I believe he was actually a apprentice to Yoda,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure if they say that in the movies or it's like in like the extra comic book or extra material.
That's like outside, but still canon.
Yeah, but the major reason why he leaves is because
I just looked it up on Wikipedia.
yeah, he basically believes that that's the whole point. The Jedi are he believes that they are either have become corrupted or become complacent in the years they're in their role and their stature, which is funny because it kind of reflects, uh, I don't know, modern politics. And
Mhm.
so basically, this idea that the Jedi, who are supposed to be this force for good and is keeping balance and protecting, have become complacent and have have been kind of co-opted by the Republic. So this like this political system has co-opted this kind of insular entity, and made it a part of the like corrupt system, which allows like
Basically,
corruption.
like Planned Parenthood with the liberal agenda.
Well,
No,
well,
I'm
more,
just kidding.
more legit, like modern politics that like they've been compromised. They've allowed like same how like you have people who are for social movements stuff like that, but we kind of turn a blind eye to, let's say, like wars that our nation uh commit, are wars that we're a part of, or massacres and
Mhm.
human rights violations. So like they become co-opted by it and become complacent in their stature over the years. And
Mm,
Yoda being the head of it, Dooku kind of rebelled against that and left the system for
right.
that. So like that's this whole idea. Is like they were supposed they're no longer what they stood for.
Right.
Well, that
And
makes more sense.
like yeah, so they've allowed there's like slavery still exists in the galaxy despite
AKA Anakin.
Mhm.
yeah, so like despite them being this powerful entity within the Republic, and the Republic's supposed to be this great democratic um galactic
Entity.
galactic
Yeah.
entity, yeah. So
I want to
it
know. I want to know why. But why does everybody think the first part is better though? Because I just like I kind of have my reasons, but I'm not quite sure.
what first part?
Well, because you
And the
guys were
first trilogy,
saying,
right?
Oh, the
yeah,
first trilogy. I think a
I
lot.
think that falls more on the acting and the performances, like the
Yeah, I think there's.
choices.
Yeah. Well, for one, this middle second trilogy, people found the political backdrop of the plot kind of boring and unclear. Like it's all based around some like trade trade
Hmm.
agreements and blocking trade
yeah.
between the Federation and the Galactic Republic. So that's like super boring. Nobody wants to hear about economics in
You're like, don't I
intergalactic.
hear NAFTA on the news all the time?
Yeah, like
Like,
nobody wants to hear about NAFTA in their space
But
warrior
come on, like I think
space
the,
wizard story.
the biggest thing you always hear with that is like with criticism for that trilogy is always like Jar Jar Binks, uh,
oh
Christian
yeah,
Christian Haydenson as the
Yeah, Christian
lead,
Haydenson was they
um,
his performance, particularly in the second
the
one,
second one, yeah,
and the little kid was kind of not a great actor,
who's
even
Christian Haydenson?
Anakin,
Anakin
Oh, okay.
in the second
yeah,
and third films. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and
So
the
I
Jar
think
Jar Binks, yeah, like is a joke character, so stupid and kind of takes
So is
the
that really like? Is he really based on like Jamaican culture, or like is that
I
what
don't
he's
know.
like a
I
play
mean,
on?
I
yeah,
Because
kind of
that's what I saw on the internet.
yeah. People were
people.
critical of that. You know, as a resident Jamaican, I just want to take
Yeah, I was
my
gonna say like, come on,
no,
enlighten us.
I mean, so like, I wasn't offended by Jar Jar Binks, but like,
Whether he actually was, I was still offended as a black person. So
but
if
do
it
you think that
wasn't that,
race
they
of people
failed.
was meant to be? Was that race of people meant to be black? I guess they were like island people.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I see the. It's
but
for me, it's like not that big of a deal. Like Jar
he's
Jar
still a
Binks,
dumb character.
he's a
Like
dumb.
Yeah,
He would be a
it
dumb
kind
character if he was
it
based
wrote.
on Jamaicans, on
Yeah,
Asians, on white people.
it's just like to me, it's just like the thing is like I understand when you create a story, you got to create the lay of the land in terms of like all of the different characters, and you're gonna have some overlap, and
Mhm.
you're gonna run out of creative juice. But like at the same time, like you look at some of the guy that takes the parts. This is probably the third trilogy, like where he's trying to buy um not R2D2, the new one. What's it called? Bebot or whatever.
oh,
Something.
the ball. BB-8. Yeah, all right.
BB-8. Oh my
That's
god,
all
so
right.
cute.
You
No,
need
no,
to
no, no,
finish.
no. But hear me out. No,
He's making a point here.
I'm saying
Okay.
like the expanse of the creativity there, the guy who takes the parts for money or whatever. Like, look at that guy. You're gonna tell me you had to do Jar Jar Banks, but you were able to do that guy. Like, I mean, you could have expanded more. There's like fucking things with like 6 eyes, like and shit like that. The bar scenes are my ultimate favorite because you see like they're just like they went in on like the drawing and the fucking
The designs,
CGI
yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But then like the Jar Jar Binks, I feel like is like, oh, me massa, like it's just cheap. It's just like
yeah.
cheap. It
I
could have
think
been better.
it takes the like the mystique and like the seriousness. Like even though it's like it's a science fiction stuff like that, there was like kind of like this like I don't know, like to the story it was kind of serious and like regal and like
Right.
and like
And you
Jar
just had
Jar
this
was like
kid,
yeah, Jar Jar was a gaff character and like you felt like aspects of that story were kind like he was like a character meant for like kids because he's so silly and stupid. Because like he definitely wasn't meant for like adults to be amused by. So yeah.
The Wookiees, I mean, they're silly, but like they're consistent, they're serious, they're big, they're powerful. The fucking flying bears or whatever in the that's from the second one, isn't it? In the forest.
Yeah, well, that's the first trilogy.
That's the
but
first one.
in the chronological order. The
The
second.
Ewoks.
Right. The Ewoks. Yeah, I mean, like those are great. They're great. That scene where they're like roasting them on the spit. I mean, come on.
All right. So I wanted to ask Mike,
Okay.
how did Mike feel about the like age difference between Padme and Anakin? Because
Oh,
because
yeah.
in the story he's like what 10,
There's like a
12.
4-year difference, I think.
No, she's a queen and a senator in the first film.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
still young.
she's not like 20.
Yeah, but like
But
I don't
I've
know.
looked this up. I'm pretty sure the age difference is it's between 4 to 6 years. It's not like she's 10 years older.
I guess so. I guess it's just the thing that makes it's jarring because you have Natalie Portman playing her in the first one, and then you have like the little kid in the first one, and then you have in the second one you have Natalie Portman still playing her, but then you have this much
Right.
older
It's
Christian.
a 5-year difference.
That's how between
So
Anakin and Padme in the story.
Yeah, when we meet young Anakin, he's 9 and Padme is 14.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think I could potentially see that because they're kind of like they're supposed to be like on this upper echelon and people that are like on that level, like they don't always follow the same societal rules that we do. Would I like to have seen more sex scenes? Yes.
I don't think that was the question. I don't know quite.
I'm just throwing that in there. No, I think it was believable. I think that was definitely something I mentioned to Lena when I was watching it. I was like, wait a minute. She's like 18 years old and like she's trying to hit on this 10-year-old. Like, isn't that like unlawful? Well, actually, he was trying to hit on her first.
Right. I think like at first it was definitely more Anakin.
She was like entertaining
towards
him.
her. Yeah.
Because he called her an angel, right?
Yeah, I mean he was, but I think that was like little kid, like
yeah,
And
then he kept like in the second one he kept macking on her.
Yeah,
right, but
she was like, "Damn, he could be packing."
At that point, they're of age, and like what he does with that lightsaber,
Knew it! I knew it! That lightsaber. Oh my god!
My last thing, and I know Mike hasn't finished the trilogy yet, but like. I'll say this from my personal opinion. I don't think that the second trilogy is as bad as people say. One, because Ewan McGregor is fire in it. Like, fire.
Yeah, he's a great Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon Jinn, I don't remember what is that? Something, I don't remember his real name.
That's Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, right? He's fire. Samuel L. Jackson is fire. Like, the performances of Anakin, obviously he's the main character, and we wanted to have this great performance, I guess. Or there's a lot of hype because he's following who's real life Luke again? What's his name? Mark. What's his name?
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. He's following Mark Hamill, so you'd want to see the franchise in the hands of someone who's capable. I get it, but like, there was only 2 movies with Christian Haydenson, right?
Yeah.
The second one, it was pretty bad. It was really bad. Like as far as performances go. But the third one,
I don't even remember the second one.
He kind of brought it back. Like the third one, I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. You talking about Haydenson?
Yeah, and
I don't remember in the last one. I felt more compelled by his
yeah,
performance. I don't remember
exactly.
the
And I
second
feel
one,
like
but
it was pretty good, especially that last scene. Like I have the high ground. Like that scene was fire. The
when he
fight scenes in
kills
that
Sam
trilogy were fire.
Jackson,
Like yeah, like the fight scenes in that trilogy, I think are better across the board than the newest one.
yeah,
Just in my opinion.
Then
Like
the
I think they
newest
were pretty good.
one,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
I could
the
go for that.
Kylo Ren versus Ray trash, but that high ground, yo, it's fire. Like I really don't think the second trilogy is that bad.
It's I think it's been memed, and like I feel like also like how bad, like in terms of like characters and storytelling, the last trilogy is,
Mhm.
makes like
Makes it
lessons
look
how,
better.
yeah, it really does,
I
because
don't
like
think so.
because then you're like, yeah, it is, that last trilogy is bad. But
who
We'll,
is
we'll
the
say
guy? Who's the guy that's in between Darth Vader and um? Is there a guy in between
what do
Darth
you mean?
Vader and Darth Vader and Kylo Ren? Like the
I don't
guy
know what
that
the question is.
wh- like the evil leader basically that
you mean the Emperor?
trying no, not the emperor.
Wait, are you
Like
talking about Dooku, the guy, old white guy with the gray with the?
no, Duke I know Dooku is who's all the guys like in the black masks. There's Darth
There's Darth
Vader
Vader.
obviously. There's Kylo Ren. Is there somebody else?
No.
No,
No, okay.
you talking about the bounty hunters, in the gray mask?
No,
I don't
no.
think it's him.
I
Okay,
thought for
yeah.
some reason I thought I thought for some reason there was somebody else in between those guys, like the guy that like basically bows down to Scope or Snoke.
No.
No, that's
Or you're
Kylo
talking
Ren.
about yeah.
Yeah, okay, my bad. All right,
Yeah,
I'll save that.
All
yeah.
right, so let's move on. Enough about evil emperors. Let's talk about more evil emperors. The
Yeah,
Queen
the British
of England.
Empire.
So a lot happening in the UK this week. I just want to do a quick shout out to my cousin Reese. He was a fan of the show, and he was sending me some topics about some things that were happening in the UK, but also obviously recently we had the huge interview with Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and Oprah. That's been a big thing. I didn't watch that interview, but I got the
Me
general
neither.
gist of it.
Yeah, I
Racism.
saw one clip and I was like, that's all I need to see.
um, and so we're gonna talk about that a little bit. So uh, let's start with the Queen. Um, I just want, I guess, general thoughts on the the interview. I know none of us really watched it, but the headline was that there was concern by someone within the royal family that there was going to be a black boy in the what's that called, in the castle? Is it the castle? Whatever. And they
The
didn't like that.
castle.
Are we surprised? Do you think they watched Bridgerton? Does the Queen say the N word? These are the questions that came to mind for me.
Oh,
I want to know what you guys think.
I mean, all right. Let's just say for the first part, like the main, I really can care less about this. Like, like,
Sure,
like,
sure.
the British Crown being like having some racists in it is like not surprising. It's like some people like. Am I surprised that like there was like some elitist white racist white person in the royal family? No,
No,
no.
we're not. We're not surprised
But
at that.
like,
John Oliver's take. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
No, what did
his
Big
his
John say?
his interview. I think it was from a couple years ago,
oh
where
yeah, he made it a few years
yeah,
back,
where he
right?
was just like they were basically saying like what would you tell Meghan Markle, and he was like, well, she's gonna have some interesting times ahead, something
Yeah.
like that. Like he called it.
I mean, I think it's interesting. Like to me, and maybe this is me just being naive. I guess like it never occurred to me like Meghan Markle is going to have a hard time in that environment. Mostly because like I guess I didn't know the depths of involvement in the royal family like that they would have on her everyday life. I just didn't think it was like you would think of like that type of shit happening in the 1600s, 1400s, or whatever. Like,
Why?
I just
Wait.
don't think like the queen
She's
like cares.
She's well. With the first thing, I don't know. Like, we can't ascribe it just to the queen because one thing I don't
Yeah,
know
we don't
how
know that it's specifically the queen.
I don't know how active she is in it, and like you're introducing a black person into an elitist all white space. Like,
What
there's
is it
bound to
really though?
you're bound to find one like racist person among the bunch. Like,
I mean, we're
It's not that
talking
I
about a
didn't think they would
country
be
that
racist.
has literally colonized
Right.
the dark
Okay,
people
let's take a step
across
back
the
here.
world.
Don't think for a second that I didn't think that British people or people in the royal family were racist. Obviously, I'm just saying I didn't think it was going to be something that bubbled up to the top and became.
No,
like,
it was
like
it was
garnering a
surprising to
Oprah
me
interview.
too. Like, in the sense that, like, I didn't think that this would have necessarily come like I didn't really expect it to come out this way. Essentially, like
with an interview.
Oprah just fucking killing it out there.
Well, for one, Oprah's not the I don't know, not the best interviewer.
Yeah, we know she's
Wow,
the
Oprah
elitist that
slander
you.
out here.
For one thing, but nah, let's be.
She's
let's
at
be,
she's at the helm of the same Eyes
Before
Wide Shut
the
party as
episode-
Hillary
New
Clinton.
episode
she
titled,
pretty
Kamal
much
Hates
is.
Oprah. Kamal Hates Oprah is now the episode.
But like, but like, for one, like I said, I didn't, like we said, I didn't watch it. Like Mike, I probably watched one clip, maybe half of one clip, and then like heard other people talking about it. But the fact that no names were like spilled during that whole interview, yeah, like what's the point of having this like super exclusive tell-all interview, and then you don't tell no names? You're like, somebody in the family was racist. I'm not gonna say who. There's like 20 people in the royal family. It was one of them. I'm not gonna tell you who it was.
I just want to say that when I saw that story in my mind, I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And then I saw that it was Oprah that did it, and I was like, oh, that is fucking genius. She took all the shit that's going on in society right now, COVID, fucking Trump, the insurrection, fucking God knows what else around the world. She took that and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own insurrection in the fucking royal family.
Oprah came hard. She was asking those questions.
That was a TV fucking genius move.
One other thing. Oh wait, okay, you got one other thing, then we'll go to the other thing.
Okay, but can we really be surprised? Like, the whole idea is like the fact that the British monarchy still exists, like an archaic concept of tradition, and has been upheld, even though their form of government has still changed. Somehow they still I think their parliamentary system still claims to derive power from the crown, right?
Yeah,
and like that. So the fact that these archaic systems and ideas are still upheld, the fact that media figures would be so appalled, like, how dare you insult and claim that the royal family might be racist? Like, the fact that that still exists, I wouldn't be surprised that archaic ideas like racism, colorism, and like the idea of having a black prince or a black duke or whatever, baron, whatever, that would be offensive to them. Like, they were attacking, and like they were tabloid stuff about Meghan Markle before she got married, so it's not surprising.
And I just want to say really quick that and we were talking about white people and what my role is in talking about race conversations and stuff. Maybe I'm ignorant, okay, but 2 points really quick. Meghan Markle is the best that he's gonna fucking do. Okay, so they should be fucking happy for his ass because she is hot. And if you ever seen her against the backdrop of other British women in the family or in that circle, it's like night and day. Okay, and second of all, and again, this is call me out if I'm wrong, but like, she is not that dark. Like, like of all the people to get mad at, like her, she looks white. I know she's not, but like,
that's funny. I've actually heard people say that before. It's like, really? Like, you're afraid about their child being too black?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's like, not gonna be black.
I feel like whoever wrote like Bridgerton, they got to be putting the fear into the queen, and she's like, nah, there's no way I can have this. because I've seen that light skinned guy. I was like, what if the queen thinks like that's what's gonna happen? That light skinned black man is gonna come in and just ruin. And I keep saying the queen, like I know it's not probably not the queen, but like she's just like whoever it
she's
is,
essentially your racist white grandma.
like whoever it is watching Bridgerton and just like scared out of their mind, and like they had to say something.
But wait, why would they be scared? Isn't he? I haven't watched the show, but isn't he supposed to be like super charming and like?
Well, yeah,
Isn't he a good guy or like a
well, yes,
protagonist
but
in the show?
the problem is just that he's black and he's in the royal family. That's it.
Okay, yeah, no, I get it. But,
That's what they're
but you would
afraid
think but you would think if they were basing their representation of what their
No.
their,
That's
their
not
black baron could be on him, they would be happy about it.
Nope, no, absolutely not. Black.
Oh, last note about it is like again, are we really surprised? This is a family that's hid one of their princes. I don't know the guy's name, who was like part of the Epstein stuff. Oh, I probably can't say that name. But
Oh yeah, Kamal's
yeah,
canceled now.
yeah.
Well,
So
in other British news, there was a kidnap / murder that happened. A little dark here.
allegedly, right?
No. It's like he's been arrested and charged at this point.
But he hasn't been convicted, right?
All right,
So,
let's go. Allegedly. All right, for legal purposes. Thank you.
well, no,
Hold the phone. I'm checking with legal right now. Yeah. Go with the legend.
well, no, the woman was
Definitely
killed,
killed. Yeah,
but like
She is dead in the ground.
not
perpetrator, not funny. But the perpetrator, this is
Yeah.
the alleged accused perpetrator of
Right,
this. Yes.
yeah. So he was a cop who would patrol areas that are like government buildings and shit like that. They don't know the full story yet, but they know that he um, essentially lured this woman somehow into his presence and murdered her and then hid her body in the woods near where he lives. Um, so the reason this was brought to my attention, I guess this is a big news story that's going around in the UK right now. The major
People are
headline,
upset.
the major headline was that one of their government representatives proposed that there should be I think 6 p.m. ban for men, saying that they cannot go
Curfew,
outside.
yeah.
6 p.m. curfew, saying that men cannot go outside after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kamal.
Wait, but before we get to that, didn't they? Wasn't they? They also said that like other officers, based on like him being
Oh, they
him
beat
being
him
the
up
suspect,
in jail?
then they like the officers like
Yeah, he was attacked possibly twice.
by officers, right?
By office. Well, I mean that's allegedly, since we're going to protect everyone.
Allegedly.
legally. So what the story is that he was in police custody. He was attacked or hurt. There with the legal team. He was hurt. He ended up getting sent to the hospital and then brought back into the custody. I think when he appeared in court, like you could see like the bruising on his head. But the general story is that he was hurt while in police custody. The general idea is that he was attacked for like being a bad representation of the police or something like that. They're retaliating against him.
Yeah,
for his
I
actions.
just wanted to get on that point about it being the other officers who attacked him. See, I'm not going to defend say that like try in any way defend this suspect, but like just another example of
police brutality.
police not knowing their place and not knowing to keep their hands to themselves and let the law do its job. But okay,
That's a great point.
but yeah, that could, one thing, yeah, the whole thing about this, it really, I don't know, the way the news covering it, they had people talking about like this like men versus women thing, and like men kind of being the victimizers of women, how women feel unsafe, that like,
Right.
and it kind of led to an expansion of other like complaints about other just women existing in society, about complaining about catcalling and public harassment and feeling unsafe, and
which are all valid claims. Let's point that out.
they're valid. It's just I don't know. It was just weird that like this incident was like the one where like no, men are bad, It's like it was just
I
weird
mean,
that
yeah,
like
I do think it's weird. Like this is the one too, because like it's not like this is the first time it's happened, but maybe I think it's like it's also like why was why well, last summer like why did this become like the peak that everyone is like well, white people finally got racism and they finally like why are any of them like why didn't we get it 5 years ago? I don't know. I think it's just
Why
like a
didn't you
perfect
get it
storm.
like 400 years ago?
Right? Like why didn't you get it 400 years ago? You know, it's just like these things they just have their times and they come and I
no,
Yeah,
think
I just think
I think there's some truth to it. Not like in a bad way or like like I think women are dangerous, but I think of like a woman comedian once that I saw that like basically said like the biggest the biggest like the biggest what do you call like problem or reason for death in men is heart disease and the biggest danger for women's lives is men. Like,
yeah.
and I mean that's partly true, but
if
I
that's
I didn't.
actually true, I don't like perpetuating false narratives just for a
No, of
joke.
course not.
Here's a statistic that was in there. It was like 97% of women in the UK
That are
are
murdered by right.
well. That's not even what I was going to say, but it was like are victims of some type of harassment. And that was, I think, in the thread that I sent you guys. And 97% of the women claim that they were victims of harassment.
So
Um,
that's like including like catcalling, right?
right, but I mean, I think that speaks to the rape culture, like a part of that being a part of the problem, and like it definitely. And I don't know if it's definitely confirmed that he raped this woman,
Yeah.
but just
Well, yeah, we don't need to go into that.
violence
Yeah,
against women in general. And I think
yeah.
starting with catcalling because it does perpetuate the culture. If we let that pass, then it's like whatever.
Well, that always leads into the conversation about like uh
What would you
I
add?
don't know, like when do you cross from like harassment when like that fine line between flirting and
Mm.
harassment?
Well,
Like
it's tough
it's
to separate the two though because
like
like
it's sexual. I can't say that. I'm gonna get canceled. For say
yeah,
that. I was gonna say
it's just like
what's
one. It's like so often
it's
like one
what
follows the other
yeah.
that like
Because like it's still a gray area, right? Because like what we've been talking about in past conversations about like men being the ones who have to
social
initiate
engagements. Yeah.
culture engagement in like romantic relationships stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like you don't you don't know what a woman likes, what she's interested in. She's interested in you until you approach her
Right.
because they don't approach you on usually, so you don't know.
Mhm.
And like if you're like I'm like if the attention the advances are acceptable and found charming and um found to develop chemistry, then it's flirting and it's welcomed. If the guy is unattractive, the advances are unwelcomed and
Mhm.
too aggressive, then it's harassment.
Yeah.
And that line and that definition isn't clear because
Different.
every woman is different. Um,
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, I've heard of situations where the guy was attractive and the woman still feels harassed.
Yeah.
Um,
no, but
I was just gonna
I'm
say,
not
I
saying
was.
they'll. I'm not saying that like if he's good looking, the harassment isn't harassment. But
No, you're just saying generally, like
I'm saying in general, like if you're
it's okay to hit on a woman if you're like a Mr. Nice Guy,
if
cool
it goes
guy,
well,
looking good. Yeah, look, yeah, if it goes well.
if it goes well,
I think so. So let me just be clear. So this was saying that like all men are dangerous. That was the premise.
That was the question that like
Oh, that was the question.
that my cousin was saying that we should talk about, which you didn't really get to, but I guess we can get to that now. So he was saying like, are men dangerous? Because I guess what the government woman was implying is that men are a danger to the livelihood of women. So we need to initiate this curfew to lessen the amounts of instances like this.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah,
are men dangerous? I mean,
I was.
I think the answer is
no,
yes. Men are
no,
dangerous. I don't think men
no.
are. I don't think men are inherently dangerous, but men have
That's
the
what the
potential to be
implication of
dangerous.
that's what men dangerous are. Like inherently
I think
men
women
being
are
dangerous.
also dangerous, but I think humans are dangerous. I think
There we
it's
go. I
people
th- I
who are
think
dangerous.
people who are people who are violent and commit crimes are dangerous.
Yes,
We
but
have
okay,
we
I
have
think
three.
dangerous people are dangerous.
We have
but
three.
look, but come on, I wanted
We
to
have
go
si-
back. I wanted to go back to something that you kind of posed earlier. You were saying like men have the social obligation of taking that first step, right? If
Mhm.
if the roles were reversed and women had the obligation of making that first, like the hitting on people, initiating conversations, things like that, I don't think it would end in violence as much as it does with men, because I think
Well,
there's
Or
still that
sexual
physical
assault.
advantage. So I think that's what kind of makes it more dangerous with men, because there's testosterone, there's more muscle mass, there's more aggression. Like,
yeah, but I mean, well, for one, it's different for a number of factors. So I can't say why they attack. But we've had before, the conversation we had before, you'd be changing like the entire like the fundamental dynamics of things. Like, do I like that would be like it would also entail you like if we were actually flipping the roles, then like kind of more sexualizing the male form
right,
and objectifying them and kind of attributing their worth to their bodies and their sexuality um and stuff like that. So it's different.
I think, and this is kind of making a joke of it, because obviously there's like male rape victims, and I don't mean to make light of it at all. But like, if
Hmm.
those roles were reversed, everything that you're saying, like the hypersexualization of male bodies, and like women were the ones who engaged, like I I still feel like the physical advantage that men have is gonna cut those numbers. Like, if a woman was trying to assault men, I don't even think they would even be able to. Like, not that they can't do it, because obviously it happens, but the physical advantages are what allows men to
It would just
be more effective at doing
if
it.
the roles were reversed, yeah, there would be a lot less just physical force used
Right.
in terms of like sexual misconduct, but there would just be other methods used
That's true. Maybe they'd use
women.
drugs or
There would
something.
just
Yeah.
be
Dogs.
No, not dogs. Drugs.
drugs.
They
There would
Look at
said
be
this cute puppy.
dogs.
Look at this cute puppy.
not,
No,
but
I
that,
thought
In
you
my
meant
apartment.
like sick a boy.
but not. There would just be what I mean. You can always what I don't know weapons used,
I guess.
emotional manipulation, like
Right.
Gaslighting.
like we always talk like we talked about
Come on. I mean, Mike, I'm all serious. Let him be
no,
serious.
it's okay. We had the
I know it's okay.
in different like sexual assault instances, like with like Weinstein and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like the women who were assaulted weren't necessarily in fear of like being beaten up
Right.
or losing their lives, but they were worried about the
The
circumstances,
ramifications. Yeah.
the situation, being trapped in
Social.
this room with like
Right.
this powerful guy, or
Right.
it could be not even just powerful because of his
Physical
physical
stature.
stature, but his presence socially and financial and things like that.
Mhm.
So
Put it
like
this way:
a powerful woman in
a man is never going to call 911 and have to report what's going on by ordering a fake pizza. I'm being
Maybe.
totally serious. You guys haven't seen those videos on
I
TikTok?
mm,
know what you're talking about. Like,
I don't
also
TikTok
Mike
a
gets his
lot.
news from TikTok. But no, the idea is that there's like code words. Like, certain
Oh yeah,
popular branches will like have this in their training. Like, if you get a call and you hear this specific order, you know that this person is in danger, and then they're like,
yeah, and they're making a call for like domestic. Yeah, okay.
Like a
yeah.
woman, a
I'm
man
just
is
saying,
never
like,
going to be doing
the
that.
man always at the last line of defense, in most cases, is going to have his physicality against
But
the woman.
not. But I guess that's true. But no, but that's assuming that for one thing that all men use their physical like there are female
If a woman is coming
there
at me,
are female there
what
are
happened?
female abusers and domestic abusers and
If someone is
assaulters.
trying to assault me, male or female, I'm allowed to hit them. I don't care. I don't hit
That's
women unless they're assaulting me.
Well, people are different about that. Some
No,
people,
and I probably wouldn't, bitch slap somebody, but I definitely try to push her off. And I think I'm stronger than most women that would be coming at
it
I don't know,
depends.
man.
What
Have
if
you
what if
seen
you
someone?
what if what if you were short, frailer,
No, I get that. I'm
male?
obviously making a joke. I'm just saying for me, yeah.
I just want to
There's
say
definitely
that
small boys out there.
in terms of
And just
the
because you're being
Mike consider
subjected to
small.
violence, just because you're not fearing for your life necessarily, doesn't make it any more right or okay. Because like the woman who's hitting you is,
it's always going to be in the wrong no
yeah,
matter what you're
yeah.
doing.
But
I was just gonna say that in terms of the curfew idea,
Hmm.
okay, I think while I agree with you, Kavan, that men are dangerous, okay, not necessarily inherently. I think the problem with the whole um there should be a curfew, that they're a clear danger to society and women. I think it's putting men in a box,
Hmm.
like with that inherency idea, and we like solving a problem in society is never solved by putting groups in a box, like
Right.
saying all men are this, all men are that, or whatever. um so a curfew is just not a good, it's just not a it's not a good rational way to solve that problem, because clearly we are examples, not all men are dangerous. um so I think that needs to be rethought way more.
I mean, that's
Like,
not gonna happen. There's no way that's gonna happen.
no, especially because I'm sure the majority of the people who vote on the fucking curfew will be men.
Right.
But like,
And then all the people in the British royal family that are engaged in sex trafficking, they do that after 6 p.m. So that
right,
can't
so
be a
how
thing.
would they get their money that month?
yeah.
Right. How
But
would they get to their underage girls?
yeah,
Damn,
if
I had such a more in my mind, my thought was way more like in depth and like articulate, and then what I just said
Uh,
was like complete crap.
uh, uh,
oh,
but just to bounce back to what was,
uh,
me saying this was not like saying, like trying to dismiss the crime that occurred, be saying that like, oh, women attack people too, so let's just nip that in the bud for our five viewers who,
Let's just keep it moving.
for the
there's gonna
five
be
view
T-shirts to cancel Kamal.
for the
Kamal hates
five
women.
viewers that are upset by that, it wasn't an attempt to dismiss or underplay what happened by saying women attack it too. But
Mhm.
like, to address the curfew, dumb as hell. One thing, really sexist. If we replaced men with black people in that instance, you think anybody would be okay with that? With
Mm.
that even brought
Oh,
up as a suggestion, be like, hey, black people are um,
A menace to society.
arrested for a lot of crimes, so why don't we put them on a curfew? That's
which
one.
they did have curfews.
One. Two, if either you're trying to curtail like violent crimes and assaults and murders, you think people who are willing to commit like sexual assault and murder are
Like,
gonna
damn,
be
it's 6 o'clock. I can't
like,
murder.
oh man, I was gonna commit these felonies, but this curfew, I can't break that. I guess
He's
I'll
like
have to.
standing over somebody like with a knife, and he's like looking at his watch. It's like 5:59. He's like, "Damn! All right,
So
good night."
one thing. So I mean, that's not. I'm not saying, not to say that like there's no point in having laws because bad people commit things, but like this is a dumb one. Like, if someone's committing a felony, breaking a curfew is not going to stop them. Someone who's in the mindset of kidnapping and murder.
In the heat of
Um,
passion, he locked her up in his house and was going to murder her, but then realized it was after 6 o'clock and turned
yeah.
himself in.
On top of that, if you really wanted to commit these crimes, you would just do it during the day then.
All
And
right.
and lastly,
Oh, he's got
Just do
more.
it
Okay.
during the
la-
day.
Rip it down.
lastly,
Rip it down.
lastly, who are you going to get to enforce this if all the men have to be inside for curfew? I'm pretty sure most of the police force in London
That's a
are
great
men.
point.
So so wait, and if the idea is that we'll put an exception in for law enforcement, isn't that the whole source of the problem? Was that a law enforcement agent was the one who
was
committed the
being violent.
crime?
Ooh.
Well, that doesn't solve the issue at all.
Back to the drawing table, Brittany.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you guys fucked up. You guys didn't think this through at all.
All right, one last thing, 'cause this is a great thing to end on. We're gonna wrap up the. I never introduced the episode. Episode 27. Here it is. At the end.
You gotta put a time code in for this one. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
No, they'll be fine. But I just want to end on this stat.
Caption of this episode: Damn, Oprah.
We could do that. A little stat for the end of the night. More, according to some website in the UK, more white people have been arrested over terrorism than any other ethnic group for third year in a row. White people just out here terrorizing.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
we love terrorism.
So, Mike, I got my eye on you. Poorly Made podcast.
Yeah, 6 p.m. curfew for me.
6 p.m. curfew for white people. See you guys next week. Thanks for watching.